Hello dear students. As you all know, we are doing chapter number 13, nuclei. Always, as usual, we are doing chapter class 12, chapter number 13, nuclei. We have done one part of the video lecture, okay? And today we are going to do the second part of the video lecture. And this part, we are going to end this chapter. This year, so many things have been deleted from the CBSE. So only few things are left. As I have told you in the last video also, only two topics are left basically. One is mass defect and another is, you can say, nuclear reaction, nuclear fusion, nuclear fission, that you have already studied in your class, lower classes. Okay, so that many things we have to do today, and we are going to do some numericals on the basis of fusion and fission also. So let us solve, let us do these topics and let us finish off this chapter so that we can proceed to our last chapter, that is chapter number 14, electronic devices. Okay, so let us start this particular thing and let us start today with mass defect. What is mass defect? Mass defect, as the word suggests, the name suggests, mass, we know what is mass, and defect, what is defect? Mass defect. So mass defect is something what? Mass defect is, let me explain. Suppose if I say that nuclei has not a physical thing, okay, only what happened? Proton and neutron, they come together, they are bounded by a strong nuclear force and they form a nuclei, they form a nucleus. A group of nucleus is called nuclei. So if it is not a physical thing, then mass of nuclei should be equal to, if it is not a physical thing, it is not a box. If suppose one box is there, so many balls are kept, so when we measure the mass of the box, then the mass will be mass of the balls plus mass of the box also, because box is a physical thing, it will have some mass. But when I talk about nucleus, nucleus has not a physical boundary, it is not there. Only protons and neutrons, they come together, they are bounded by strong nuclear force and they form a nucleus. So basically nucleus has no physical thing, so nucleus should not have any mass. So if we talk about what mass of a nucleus, if we talk about mass of nucleus, then what we should have? We should have mass of protons plus mass of neutrons. Simple. Since it is not a physical thing, it is not a cover, it is not a box, so mass of proton must be plus mass of neutron must be equal to what? Mass of nucleus. But what we observe, but there is another point of view. Suppose if I have to measure mass of nucleus, then what I should say? Again, this can be done with mass of atom, of whole atom I have measured, and then minus mass of electrons. Because in atoms what are there? One nucleus and electrons are revolving around the nucleus. So mass of atom minus mass of electrons, what will have? We should have mass of nucleus. Mathematically and theoretically, these two things, mass of protons plus mass of neutrons, mass of atom minus mass of electron, they should represent the same thing, mass of nucleus. But what we found, that what we get from here, that is a mass of nucleus, is slightly different. It is mass of atom minus mass of electron minus mass of proton. Suppose I have to calculate the mass of proton. Mass of one proton is mass mp and number of protons is Z. Z is atomic number, if you have not forgotten. We have done in the last video lecture. So atomic number represents number of protons. Number of protons multiplied by mass of one proton. It will become what? Total mass of proton. So Z into mass of proton. Okay. Z into mass of proton plus, what is this? Mass of neutron. Mass of neutron is, how many neutrons are there? Mass of neutron represented by small mn, like this. Okay. Mass of neutron represents like this. Mass of, and how many numbers of neutrons are there? So mass number minus atomic number. Mass number represents number of proton plus number of neutrons. Z represents number of protons only. So A minus Z will represent number of neutrons. Multiply by what? Mass of neutron. So this is the equation of first one. And what is the equation of second one? Earlier I have written here, but let me write here. Mn. This is mass of nucleus. Mass of atom minus mass of electrons. Right? So what we should have? We should have 0. We should have 0. Okay? But, okay, let me write this also as a mathematical term. Minus, what is mass of atom? Suppose we are talking about an atom AX. Its atomic number is Z and its mass number is A. This is mass of atom minus mass of electrons. How many electrons are there? Equal to atomic number if it is not an ion. So it will be Z into mass of electron. So this should have been equal to 0. This represents your second equation and this represents your first one. Mass of proton plus mass of neutron. This is the individual masses of proton and neutron. This is mass of atom minus mass of electron. These two should represent mass of nucleus. So if they are representing the same thing. So if we subtract this from this, the answer should be equal to 0. But for our surprise, this answer is not 0. This answer is actually some small amount of mass which is represented by delta M, and this delta M is called actually mass defect. This delta M is actually called mass defect. Okay, why it is called defect? Because this should be equal to 0, but it is not. This should be equal to 0. We are calculating the mass of the nucleus here also, here also. So mass of this minus mass of this should be equal to 0, but it is not. And that's why it is called mass defect. So how we define mass defect here? We say that the difference between sum of mass of proton and mass of neutron and mass of nucleus, this is your mass of nucleus, is called mass defect. Is it clear? Okay. So in another words, the same line can be written as delta M is equal to, just see, in the first bracket, Z into mass of proton plus A minus Z into mass of neutron minus, this can be written as mass of nucleus. So mass of nucleus, this is the definition of mass defect. And if we simplify this one, let me remove from here. If you simplify this one, what we are going to have? We are going to have delta M is equal to, just see, ZMP, ZME. Minus and minus sign will become plus. If we take Z as common, we are going to have mass of proton plus mass of electron plus A minus Z into mass of neutron minus mass of atom. Okay, mass of proton plus mass of electron, 1 proton 1 electron. This is a mass of hydrogen atom, so it will be Z into mass of hydrogen atom plus A minus Z into mass of neutron minus mass of atom. So this is the expression for mass defect. Okay, let me repeat again. What is mass defect? Mass defect is actually the difference between the individual masses of protons and neutrons, in one word say nucleon, and the mass of nucleus. I hope it is clear. So this is mass defect and it is represented by delta M. Dear students, you should remember this formula and this formula. Okay, these two formulas are used to in the numericals to calculate the mass defect. Okay, related to mass defect, one more definition is there, and that is called packing fraction. What is packing fraction? What is packing fraction? Let us see. So another definition is packing fraction. Packing fraction. Okay, what is packing fraction? Simple. Packing fraction is defined as mass defect upon mass number. Okay, packing fraction is actually defined as mass defect upon mass number. It is delta m upon A. Okay, and it is defined as by the nucleus. Okay, like packing fraction of a nucleus. Packing fraction of nucleus. Okay, so it is given by mass defect per atomic number, per mass number, per nucleon you can say, or you can say ratio of mass defect to the mass number. This is called packing fraction. A very important concept related to this is binding energy of a nucleon. Okay, binding energy of a nucleon. So let us see what is binding energy. Binding energy. What is binding energy? Now this is a mass defect, and where this mass has gone actually. Nucleus is not a physical thing. When we add number of proton, mass of neutron, this should be equal to the mass of nucleus, but there is a difference between mass of proton plus mass of neutron minus mass of nucleus is not equal to 0, it is equal to delta. So where this mass has gone? According to Einstein, a very important equation which relates mass with the energy is E is equal to mc square. Whenever we are told this equation in our lower classes, what we have been told that if a small m amount of mass, I hope you must be knowing this equation. This is E for energy, m is mass, and c is what? C is speed of light. So whenever it has been told to us that whenever small m amount of mass is being destroyed, then E amount of energy will be released, which is a very larger one for a smaller mass also. But the thing is, this equation says something broader, something more meaningful than this one. This is also correct that if m is destroyed, then E amount of energy is released. This is correct. But this equation elaborates something more than this. What that is? It relates that mass and energy, they are interchangeable. We can convert the mass in the form of energy, and we can convert, actually we can't because still we are trying to do, but we can convert energy into mass also as per this equation. So till now we have succeeded to convert mass in the energy, and it is done in while nuclear reactions, but we are not able to convert energy into mass. Okay. Here a natural phenomena is this mass is not existing. When we are measuring, this mass is not there. So where this mass has gone? So one theory is there that this mass does not appear or does not there in the form of mass. This mass is not in the form of mass. This mass is actually in the form of energy. This mass is actually in the form of energy. And what that amount of energy is? The energy of that mass is delta m into c square. What is delta m? Delta m is this one. Delta m is this one. So if we put this value, what we are going to have? If we put the value of delta m, it is z into mass of hydrogen atom plus a minus z into mass of neutrons minus whatever atom we are talking about, z into a into what? C square. So this energy is there. Actually this mass does not exist in the form of mass, it exists in the form of energy, and this energy is called binding energy. This amount of energy is required to separate nucleons from each other up to that distance at which they have not further interactions between themselves. Okay, so basically binding energy, how it is defined as, its mathematical value is this one, and how it is defined as, binding energy of a nucleus is defined as the amount of energy which is required to separate the nucleons from a distance, from so much distance from each other, so that they cannot have further interactions. And if I talk about interaction, I simply mean that I am talking about strong nuclear force. Okay, So if we go by the book definition, so the definition is the binding energy of a nucleus may be defined as the energy required to break up a nucleus such that its constituent particles, protons and neutrons are separated such a large distance at such a large distance that they may not interact with each other. Okay, this is the bookish definition. I was just reading the book, but what I have told, what I have just told, I think you have understood. Just separate the nucleons at such a large distance so that they cannot have further interactions. Okay, and when I say interaction, what do I mean? I mean a strong nuclear force. The strong nuclear force acting between them should be 0. Not 0, equal to 0. Okay, is it clear? Approximately equal to 0. So this is what? This is binding energy. This is the energy which binds the nucleons together. Okay. Now binding energy is this one. It is denoted by EB. Let me write EB. EB, binding energy. And here we calculate binding energy per nucleon. One more definition is there. That is binding energy per nucleon. What is that? It is denoted by EB. This is the binding energy upon what? A. What is A? A is mass number. So binding energy per nucleon is given by EB upon A. Binding energy upon mass number. This is the amount of energy required to separate one nucleon. One nucleon means either proton or neutron. One nucleon from the nucleus such that it has not further interaction with the nucleus. So basically this is the energy required to separate one nucleon. So if it simply binding energy is required to break up a nucleus. Okay, to break up a nucleus into its constituent particles and separate them at a large distance. Is it clear? This binding energy is responsible for the stability of nucleus also. Okay, if this much energy is required, if this much energy is being supplied to the nucleus, nucleus will break up. Okay, so there is a trend. What we see, if we see the variation of binding energy with the mass number, then for a smaller nuclei, this binding energy per nucleon is small. It is maximum for iron, okay, which mass number is 56, I think, and then what again it decreases and it goes to for uranium, for larger nucleus like uranium and all, it is very small, approximate 6.7 something mega electron volt. So for smaller nucleons it is small. For larger nucleus, for larger nuclei it is greater. For smaller nuclei like hydrogen, it is small. But for larger nucleus like uranium, the radioactive elements, for them it is larger. So there is a tradition that every nucleus have a tendency to stable itself. So smaller nucleons have tendency to join themselves, to combine and form a bigger nucleus so that they can be more stable. And a heavier nucleus has a tendency to split, to convert it into two smaller nucleus so that it has more stability. So if lighter nuclei, they combine together and they form a bigger nucleus, what that is called? That is called nuclear fusion. And if a heavier nuclei split itself into two parts and becomes two lighter nuclei, then it is called nuclear fission, which is going to be our with these two topics are going to be our last topic of the day and last topic of the chapter also. Okay, so let us start the nuclear fusion and the nuclear fission. These are the two reactions related to nucleus which we have to study in this chapter. Okay, so let us go to that topic. Okay, students, let us start nuclear fission. As I have told you that it happens with a larger nucleus like uranium, and when a heavy nuclei split into two lighter nuclei, then this process is called nuclear fission. Let us write some examples. Okay, let us write some examples, some nuclear reactions to denote that nuclear fission. If we talk about uranium, which mass number is which atomic number is 92 and mass number is 235. Okay, when a neutron is bombarded on it, so when one neutron acts on the nucleus of one uranium, So what happens? It splits up into two lighter nuclei. One is barium 56, mass number 141, plus krypton 36, mass number 92, plus 3 neutrons we have, 0, 1, and then 1 Q. What is Q? Q is the amount of energy which is being released. But this is not the only reaction which is possible. So many other reactions are also possible. Like for the same thing we can have Xe, which mass number is 54. It is 140, plus Sr, which mass number is 38. Sorry, atomic number is 38. Mass number is 94, plus 2 neutrons, 0, 1, plus what? Energy. This can also give molybdenum, MO, 42, 95, okay, plus La, 57, 139, 139, and then 2 neutrons, plus what? Energy. So many other reactions are also possible. Okay, but if you see what you have to take care of, just add all these. 141 plus, first of all, let us add the bottom one. We have 56 plus 36. How much we are going to have? Obviously, if you add them, you will get 92. Here we have 141, here we have 92. So if we add them, it will become 2 plus 1, 3, 9 plus 4, 1, 31, 9 plus 4, 13, and 1 plus 1, 2, 233. 233 we are going to have from here, okay? No, sorry, 233, yes. And plus 1, 3 neutrons. So 233, I think, let me check, 92, okay. Now, so if we add them, so it will become, if we add them, it will become 233, 141 plus 92, and then after if we add 3 neutrons, so it will become what? 236. And here also just see 235 plus 1. How much we are going to have? 236. So number of particles remains same. So number of particles remains same. But how we are getting this energy? How we are getting this energy? So here comes the concept of mass defect, and mass converts into energy. If you add these two masses and if you add these three masses, there will be a mass difference. And obviously this mass is greater than this mass, and that mass is being converted into energy. Numericals are there based on this concept only. Add the mass of reactants. In terms of chemistry, you call it reactants, you call it product. But this is something different. We are talking about nucleus here. We are talking about nucleus. We are not talking about exchange of electrons. In chemistry, what happens? Electrons are getting exchanged. Electrons are getting exchanged. Electrons are making bonds. Here, we are not talking about those. I am telling you the nuclear reactions. So basically, when I say mass of this, what I mean to say, mass of this group of nucleus, which is called nuclei. The mass of this nuclei plus mass of this. When we add this mass and when we add these three masses, obviously there will be a mass difference. And that mass difference multiplied with c square, it will be equal to what? It will be equal to the energy which is being released. This is the key concept of numericals. I want you to solve the numericals by yourself. Okay? Mass of this minus mass of this multiply by what? C square. This is what? This is called, this is the mass which has been converted into energy. Okay? So this is all about nuclear fission. Now let us go by nuclear fusion. Let me remove all this. Nuclear fusion. What is nuclear fusion? So as I have told you earlier also in this video lecture only, when two lighter nuclei combine themselves and form a bigger nucleus, this is called nuclear fusion. In nuclear fusion, lighter nuclei like hydrogen, they combine themselves and form a bigger nucleus. Okay, let us write some example of nuclear fusion, and then after we'll discuss how the energy is being released. Okay, nuclear fusion. Nuclear fusion. Hydrogen, hydrogen, they add themselves, becomes again one hydrogen plus a positron plus a neutrino plus a smaller amount of energy, 42 mega electron volt. This is not a smaller, this is a larger one. Okay, but when we talk about two deuterons, these two hydrogens combined, they form a deuteron. But now when two deuterons, they combine themselves, then they form a helium nucleus of atomic number 2 and mass number 3 plus 1 neutron, plus now the amount of energy is 3.27 mega electron volt. Okay, so this is how. And one more nuclear reaction is possible for fusion. For deuterons, combination of deuterons again form a helium nucleus with atomic number 2, mass number 3 plus 1 hydrogen nucleus plus 4.03 mega electron volt. I hope you know mega electron volt. This is the amount of energy which is being released. Now how this nuclear fusion takes place and how that energy is coming out, again the same thing. Add these two masses, subtract the mass of these two. What we are going to have? A difference of mass, and that difference of mass is being converted into energy. So this is how this nuclear reactions takes place. This is about nuclear reactions, nuclear fusion and nuclear fission. Okay, there are some terms related to these reactions. Let us try to understand. The first thing is chain reaction. Chain reaction. What happens when you talk about a uranium nucleus? Okay, and one neutron acts on it, attack on it, then what happens? From here, this uranium nucleus splits into two lighter nuclei, but from here we get three neutrons. Okay, one neutron, another neutron, and another neutron. And these three neutrons reacts with different uranium nucleus. And again from these three nucleus, again it splits up into two lighter nuclei, and again three neutrons comes out. Three neutrons come out. And again these three neutrons, they combine with different three nuclei of uranium. And again what they do? Again from here also three neutrons comes. So within a fraction of time, so many neutrons come out. So many neutrons come out. And they keep reacting with the other nuclei of uranium. So within fraction of time, a large amount of energy is being released. A large amount of energy. Okay, so this is called chain reaction. Okay, this is called chain reaction. Chain reaction can be controlled by using moderators, which is our second definition. Moderators. Okay, chain reaction can be controlled by using moderators. What moderators do? They absorb the energy of neutron, fast moving neutrons, and if this neutron has not that much energy to attack on uranium, okay, so it will not able to break this uranium. Okay, so what this moderators they do? They absorb the energy of fast moving neutrons. They can be, a moderator can be, it can be a heavy water, or it can be boron rods. Okay, these can be heavy water or this can be boron rods, and they are, what they do, they absorb the energy of neutron and they control the reaction. Okay, control the chain reaction. Now, if this chain reaction can be controlled, then nuclear energy, which is a larger amount of energy, it can be converted in our use. Okay, it can be converted into useful energy. Okay, and that we do in the nuclear reactors. Nuclear reactors. Okay, obviously this can be done in the nuclear reaction, and if we do it, if we want to use it for destructive purpose, if one wants to use it for destructive purpose, it can also be used. Okay, in terms of nuclear bomb and hydrogen bomb. Hydrogen bomb is the example of nuclear fusion. Nuclear bomb is the example of nuclear fission. Okay, in the sun is the source of energy, solar energy, which is there for a longer period of time, which will be there for a longer period of time. For that also, the source of energy is nuclear reaction only. And the sun, what the nuclear reaction is happening, in the sun, the nuclear reaction is nuclear fusion. Just remember this thing, it is very important for your board examination. In sun, nuclear fusion. This is responsible for the solar energy. Okay, this is responsible for the solar energy, which we are getting from a longer period of time, for a longer period of time, and which we'll be getting for a longer period of time. Okay, so I think this is all for this chapter. Okay, numericals are there, but they are very easy. As I have told you, the key factor, just calculate the mass of reactant minus mass of product. In terms of your chemistry, add the mass of nucleus only. Okay, and then after you'll get the multiplied with the C square, you'll get the energy. Okay, so this is all for the day, and this is for your chapter also. This chapter has been over now, and from the next video lecture we'll talk about the last chapter, which is your semiconductor devices. So in NCERT it is named as electronic devices, so we are going to do that. Okay, so this is all for the day. Thank you.